Stop reading books. Yes, you heard that right. And before you rush to the comment section, hear me out. The other day, I had this fascinating conversation with a friend. They started listing all the various books I had to read. Have you read The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins? I said no. What about Ignore Everyone by Hugh MacLeod? Again? I said no. And the list went on and on and on. Book after book. You could hear the genuine concern in my friend's voice. It's like, man, you are missing out. At first, I felt like, that FOMO feeling that can easily come up, where I was like, man, I'm falling behind. I really should be catching up. Maybe I'm missing some crucial piece of knowledge that could help transform my life, that could help change my business. But then I paused. Then I asked my friend a very simple question. With everything you've read so far, what have you actually applied? Silence. See, this is someone I've known very well. It's someone that's talked about goals over and over again, and we talk about what they're going to do, how they're going to do it, but there was silence. And it wasn't a comfortable silence. It was not a thoughtful silence. It was the kind of silence that hits you in the gut because you just stumbled onto a very uncomfortable truth. So I pushed further. Remember that goal you told me about last year? The one you were so excited about, with all the lessons, framework, tools, examples you've got from all those books. Have you achieved it? More silence. What difference have these books made in your life apart from consuming knowledge? That was my question. See, here's the thing. We become information addicts. We get a dopamine hit from highlighting passages in books. We feel productive adding another book to our read list on Goodreads. We love the feelings of learning something new. Feels great, right? But there's a massive difference between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is knowing that consistency is key to success. Wisdom is showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it. Knowledge is understanding the habits, or understanding the importance of healthy habits, shall I say. Wisdom is actually preparing your meals and hitting the gym and exercising. Knowledge is reading about entrepreneurship. Wisdom is taking the leap and starting the business. Don't get me wrong, I'm not against reading. Books are incredible tools. I've definitely found them helpful. They are vessels of experience, shortcuts to insight that took others years to gain. But you can get all of that in a snapshot. But they're just that. They are tools. And a tool is useless if it stays in the toolbox. We've created this culture where reading more books equates to personal growth, where having a larger Kindle library somehow makes us more successful, where quoting authors has become a substitute for actual achievement. But reality doesn't care how many books you've read. Your business doesn't grow based on your good read challenge. Your health doesn't improve because you can quote fitness experts. Your relationships don't flourish because you understand attachment theory. What matters is action. What matters is implementation. What matters is doing the work. I'd rather read one book and apply its principles thoroughly than read 50 books and apply absolutely nothing. Let me share an ancient story that captures this really, really well. There was once a young scholar who spent years studying with the greatest masters of martial arts. He read every scroll, memorized every technique, and could recite every principle of combat. His knowledge was vast and impressive. One day, he heard of a wise old master living in the mountains. Confident in his extensive knowledge, he decided to visit and perhaps learn any remaining secrets he might have missed. When he arrived, he began telling the master all about the scrolls he had read, all about the theories he had studied, all the knowledge he had accumulated. The master listened quietly and then asked, "Would you like some tea?" The young scholar nodded, continuing to speak about his studies. The master began pouring his tea into the cup. The cup filled to the brim, and the master kept pouring. The tea spilled all over the edges, onto the table, and onto the scholar's lap. The scholar jumped up and exclaimed, "Stop! The cup is full. No more can go in." The master stopped pouring and said, "You are like this cup, so full of what you know, what you've read, and what you study. How can you learn anything new until you empty your cup? How can you gain wisdom until you start practicing what you already know?" The story hits different, doesn't it? At my organization Mindset Shift, we talk about our framework of unlearning, unlocking, and unleashing. And the reason why we always start with unlearning is you need to create space for something new to flourish, very much like the master just described in that story. Because here's what nobody tells you. There is a bridge between information and transformation. That bridge, it's called implementation. Information alone is worthless. Implementation without information is just blind action. But when you bring the two together, when you connect them, that's where the magic happens. Now, let me be clear. I'm not here to add to the mountain of self-help content that's already out there and you are probably drowning in. I'm here to trigger a fundamental shift in how you think, because real change, the kind that transforms your life, doesn't happen from accumulating more information. It happens in those moments when your mindset shifts, when you see things differently, when you finally understand that knowing and doing are two entirely different games. So let me ask you 3 questions. They might make you uncomfortable, but sit with it, because trust me, they'll be very helpful for you to make a mindset shift. Number 1, if you died tomorrow, would you be more proud of the books you've read or the actions you've taken based on what you have learned? Number 2, what stories are you telling yourself about why you need to read just one more book before you can start taking action? And number 3, if knowledge truly was the key to success, why aren't all librarians millionaires? Now, these aren't just rhetorical questions, they are mirrors. Look into them carefully, because I have a challenge for you. Look at your bookshelf, physical or digital. Personally, I like Audible. Pick one book that's resonated with you, just one. Now close all the others. Put down your reading list, ignore the other Audibles or Kindle versions you have open, close them down. Spend the next 30 days actually implementing what that one book has taught you. 30 days focused and dedicated. No new books, no new information, just pure focused implementation. Because one implemented idea is worth more than 1,000 books sitting already in your Kindle. Stop being a knowledge collector. Start being a wisdom seeker. Stop reading, start doing. In the comments, I want you to tell me, what's that one book you're going to actually implement this month? What specific action are you going to take? And if this message resonated with you as usual, hit that like button, subscribe, because sometimes the most valuable content isn't about giving you more information, it's about pushing you to act on what you already know. Remember, knowledge without action is just entertainment. I'll see you next time.